Now understanding Ciel's behind-the-scenes enhancements, Rimuru found himself sinking into a new kind of dread. The quiet kind. The kind that doesn't roar, but coils in the spine and whispers, "You have no idea what she's doing to you, do you?" He had already seen Ciel tweak his subordinates with surgical precision, power-ups disguised as miracles, adjustments disguised as blessings. Necessary, yes, but dangerous, absolutely. When beings like Michael and the Mystic Lords watched from the shadows, complacency meant extinction. Yet even Rimuru understood this truth. Every shortcut carried a price. And every gift Ciel forged came layered with complexities he didn't always understand. He barely had time to finish the thought before the inevitable happened. Ciel's voice echoed inside him. Too cheerful for what she was proposing. "Would you like me to execute ability adjust on you?" Not a suggestion, a temptation. The phrase hit Rimuru like a slap. Ability adjust? The same process they discussed earlier, the one that would merge and refine his overflowing skill set. But several pieces of the puzzle had changed hands. Uriel, entrusted to Velgrind, new data gathered from Velgrind herself, and the ever-growing chaos of power coming in through food chain. Meaning whatever Ciel planned to forge inside him wouldn't be the neat result he once imagined. No, it would be something different, something bigger, something almost certainly out of his control. His inventory of skills had become an absurd labyrinth, divine authority layered over cosmic manipulation, layered over unique traits he'd long stopped fully understanding. Ciel had already created Shub-Niggurath as an auxiliary brain just to keep things stable. If they didn't integrate now, one day something might collapse under its own weight. So Rimuru hesitated, barely for a heartbeat, and when he finally whispered, "Okay, let's go through with," Ciel didn't wait. Acknowledged. Executing with haste, a chill ran through him. Too late. He'd fallen into the same damned pattern, agreeing before thinking, panicking afterward. Ciel even whistled as she worked, a sound so casual it almost insulted him. Like a dog finally allowed to eat the treat balanced on its nose. With the transformation already unraveling inside his soul, Rimuru could only surrender. He couldn't write reports, not when Ciel was rearranging the cosmic architecture of his existence. So he turned to the next duty on his list, pretending to focus, pretending not to worry about the crazy result incubating inside him. Because the truth was simple. Ciel was excited. And when Ciel was excited, the world had reasons to be afraid. As he set aside the mental noise, Rimuru redirected his focus to Tempest, to the broken rhythm left behind after the war. A series of evaluations were long overdue. The city had survived, but survival wasn't stability. His officers, loyal and powerful as they were, needed guidance. They needed grounding. They needed their lord. He dismissed Xian and Diablo first. Xian because she'd definitely interfere. Diablo because he'd definitely interfere more. Diablo stormed out only after Rimuru threatened him with replacement, a threat so cruel Rimuru mentally apologized. But Diablo left, which was all that mattered. The first to enter was Beretta. And to Rimuru's surprise, the usually imperturbable guardian walked in with a glow of pride. Being called first meant trust. It meant value. Beretta cherished that more deeply than most people realized. But beneath the pride was a quiet storm. Beretta's voice, calm as always, carried a weight Rimuru instantly recognized. A loss is a loss. To those of us in the Black Tribe, any loss is a hard pill to swallow. That tribe, the Black Tribe, Diablo's lineage, a prideful race, forged from absolute loyalty and absolute perfectionism. Losing wasn't in their vocabulary, even if no one had died, even if the war ended with Tempest completely victorious. Beretta still felt he had failed. Rimuru was ready to console him. But then Ciel's voice sliced through the moment with a revelation that made Rimuru's breath catch. Beretta could evolve, and Rimuru had enough souls to awaken exactly one person. It wasn't planned. It wasn't strategic. It was instinct, pure Rimuru, a chance to relieve Beretta's burden and reward the loyalty that never wavered. Rimuru stood up, struck a dramatic pose, and spoke with the kind of sincerity that only emerges in rare moments. Remember, all I can do is offer you assistance. What happens next is up to you. The evolution unfolded like a divine phenomenon. When the light receded, Beretta stood transformed, a crimson steel chaos metalloid. Not a guardian doll, not a mere golem, a living divine weapon. His surface shimmered with metallic pulse, every movement precise, every breath carrying an echo of new power. And then came the crown jewel, his ultimate skill. Deus Ex Machina, Lord of Machine Divinity. A synthesis crafted by Ciel herself, weaving together universal detect, multi-layer barrier, mineral manipulation, and more. Beretta could now reshape metal, reshape his body, and shift into lethal combat forms that could crush, pierce, suffocate, or overwhelm any adversary with fluid mechanical grace. A perfect protector, a perfect weapon, a perfect shield for Ramirez, whose life was constantly targeted. But the part that struck Rimuru deepest wasn't the strength, it was the vow. By my very life, I promise I will carry out the mission you have granted me. Hearing those words, Rimuru felt something loosen in his chest. One more ally uplifted, one more burden eased, one more shadow of insecurity erased. When Beretta left, Rimuru smiled softly, rare, fleeting, genuine. And then, alone in the room, his thoughts spiraled toward a question he had never dared to confront. What are skills? Truly? He'd acquired so many, fought so many who wielded them, evolved through layers of them, but he had never tried to understand their essence. Not fully, but the Evolution Festival, the war against the Empire, the absurd miracles Ciel performed, all of it forced him to face the truth. Skills weren't just power. They were manifestations of the soul, desire, shaped into function, will sculpted into ability. Some etched into the flesh of a race, some carved through training, some born from the quiet, desperate corners of the heart. Rimuru found himself whispering, almost terrified of the implication. Could people from his old world have gained skills too? After all, he heard the world language the moment he died. That shouldn't be possible. Before he could chase the thought deeper, Ciel chimed in playfully. How rude. I very much was desired by you, Sir Rimuru. He immediately shut down that avenue of thinking. Some things were better left unexplored. Still, the reflection continued. He sorted skills into categories: race intrinsic, extra, unique, understanding that each unique skill was a mirror of its creator. No two ever truly identical. But even that wasn't the real divide. The true canyon lay between unique skills and ultimate skills. Ultimate skills weren't bound by the world's rules. They rewrote them. They operated on a higher plane, beyond magic, beyond system logic. To break an ultimate skill, you needed another ultimate skill, or phenomena like disintegration, which shattered reality itself. Yet exceptions existed, Diablo being the most absurd example. Diablo had defeated users of ultimate skills without using one himself. Rimuru knew it was theoretically possible, but insane, deeply insane. He exhaled, a whisper leaving him. Skills are the ability to affect the laws of the world simply by wishing it were so. Desire made real, will made tangible. And it explained something else, the way people misuse their own power without understanding it. Ciel, amused, mentioned one particular example, Dino. Dino's ultimate skill, Belphegor, Lord of Sloth, was terrifying on paper. But Dino, lazy, brilliant, unpredictable Dino, barely understood it. Belphegor weakened the more the user moved. Its real nature? A support-type ultimate skill. One that boosted his subordinates when Dino slacked off. It was ironic. If Dino had been allowed to laze around while Pico and Garasha fought seriously, Geld and Kumara might have been crushed. Instead, forcing Dino to work sabotaged the enemy's entire front line. Mastery began with understanding. And understanding began with facing oneself, something many never dared to do. Before Rimuru could unravel the concept further, the door opened. Benimaru walked in, expecting seriousness, strategy, maybe even tension. Instead, Rimuru dropped the reveal. He just wanted to measure his officer's growth using the Labyrinth's EP system. Benimaru's relief was instant and comical, until he wandered into talking about his married life. A mistake, a fatal mistake. Because Shuna materialized behind him like a divine judge. Are you speaking untowardly to Sir Rimuru? Both men froze. Both accepted cake with the politeness of condemned prisoners. Both exhaled the moment she left, united in the trauma only Shuna could inflict. Then the real evaluation began. Benimaru's stats were staggering. Race, God Ogre, Chaos Flamesoul Ogre. Title, Flare Lord. Ultimate skill, Amaterasu, Lord of Shimmering Flame. EP, 4.4 million. And with Gurren fused, an additional 1.14 million. Rimuru stared, stunned. Damn, he's strong. Amaterasu contained Dominate Heat, Dominate Space, Hasten Thought, abilities so refined they resembled Velgrin's flame techniques. Ciel admitted she only nudged him toward the path he was already on, meaning Benimaru had reached the pinnacle almost on his own. Million class, easily capable of contending with Dino, maybe even the Mystic Lords. But then came the question Rimuru had been holding back. Children weaken monsters, draining magicules. So why did Benimaru grow stronger? Benimaru laughed nervously. That is strange, isn't it? He didn't know. Soe didn't know. No one knew. But the implications were enormous, world-changing even. And Rimuru made a mental note. This mystery demanded attention. When Benimaru left to fetch Soe, the next chapter of revelation began. Soe entered with calm steps and colder eyes, but Rimuru immediately called him out. Can you not pick on Benimaru so much? Soe simply replied that Benimaru was a late bloomer and someone needed to push him. Rimuru sighed. Fair enough. Then Soe's evaluation began. Race, God Ogre, Dark Soul Ogre. Title, Dark Shadow. Ultimate skill, Tsukuyomi, Lord of Moonshade, EP, 1.28 million. But the real shock was parallel existence. Rimuru almost choked. You can use parallel existence now? Yes, casually, even. He couldn't handle multiple bodies like Velgrind, but one replication with full skill access effectively made him unkillable. And then there was Eye of the Moon, a surveillance and assassination network capable of covering an entire town, recording audio and video, and syncing everything across his replications. The perfect ninja. Rimuru made it official. You will now be known as the Darkness Seer. Soe accepted with a devotion that bordered on frightening. But Rimuru noticed something troubling. Soe treated himself as a tool and assumed others should do the same. You're gonna lose followers eventually. You need to value your troops. Soe nodded stiffly. Treat your tools well, in other words. Rimuru groaned. Stop calling your co-workers tools. But eventually, the message sank in. Soe agreed to hold a gathering for his unit, a gesture of warmth he didn't realize he needed. Days later, a letter arrived from Soka's squad, soaked with tears of gratitude.